Ukraine seeks meeting with Russia within 48 hours to discuss build-up.
Here's a summary of the article.
Ukraine has called for a meeting with Russia and other members of a key European security group over the escalating tensions on its border. Russia has denied any plans to invade Ukraine despite the buildup of some 100,000 soldiers on Ukraine's borders. Mr. Kuleba said Ukraine had, on Friday, demanded answers from Russia under the rules of the Vienna document, an agreement about security issues adopted by the members of the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe, which includes Russia. More than a dozen nations have urged their citizens to leave Ukraine, and some have pulled embassy staff from the capital, including the US. But Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky, who criticized the panic that could spread from such claims, said he had no proof that Russia was planning an invasion in the coming days. The White House said President Biden reiterated U.S. support for Ukraine, and that both leaders had agreed on the importance of continuing to pursue diplomacy and deterrence. Ukraine's statement of the call said its president thanked the U.S. for its unwavering support, and that, at the end, President Zelensky invited the U.S. leader to come to Ukraine. One of Russia's demands is that Ukraine, not currently a member, would never be allowed to join NATO. NATO and Western nations insist that sovereign countries such as Ukraine are free to decide things for themselves, including potentially applying for membership of the Security Alliance, formed in part as a countermeasure to the Soviet Union in the aftermath of World War II. Russia contends that its buildup of troops along the Ukraine border is its own concern, within its own territory.
This post received a score of 21,000, with an upvote ratio of 96%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
We'll drop in Wednesday to discuss it.
We'll circle back next week.
We'll touch base in a few days.
Merging our operations could lead to increased synergy.
So we see a large amount of troops around our border neighbor. Mind telling me what all the fuss is?
Putin, our troops are merely just passing by.
I just want to invade Portugal, bro. Napoleon before the Peninsular War.
Greater than, come on, Portugal. Just the tip. 5 seconds, tops. I promise. Napoleon, probably.
It was Spain whom really got fucked. Napoleon's troops were supposed to invade Lisbon, but Napoleon also took over his former ally Spain because why not?
King Carlos IV was erratic, narcissistic, and unstable. The country was actually being run by the Prime Minister, Manuel Godoy. Though IIRC he was under French pay, he was not to be trusted, wanted to make himself King of Spain. He came to power because he was fucking Queen Maria Luisa.
Bourbon.
King Philip VI is a daddy, agree.
All this talk about Russia invading Ukraine with a swift and precise invasion to achieve one of many possible short-term goals makes an assumption that it will work. I know there is a lot of talk about how Russia may be miscalculating in the long term, but what about the short term? What are the possibilities that Russia may bungle the build-up, invasion resulting in immediate backfire in short term that foil any goal they may have in Ukraine?
I'd look at it this way: there are many ways an invasion can go wrong, but limited ways that it can go well. No one doubts that Russia has a far stronger military and especially air force. Even with a strong army, one does not simply roll tanks into a city of several million people with entrenched defenders and topple the government in a matter of days. It could take months of urban warfare to claim the city, and undoubtedly a government in exile will have shifted to West Ukraine.
Do you think the rhetoric around the situation has been a little presumptive when it comes to assuming a swift Russian victory? I keep seeing people say that, but maybe it's just my Reddit feed.
They just don't have the manpower to handle an invasion from every front imaginable. Let alone the air defense needed to keep things manageable on the ground. I think this guy's saying anything can happen, which is true, but the current assessment is that Ukraine will make the initial invasion as painful as possible before falling back on insurgency plans. The hopeful scenario if further war breaks out is that between sanctions and a thorny insurgency, Russia will achieve a Pyrrhic victory.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.